What happens to your body when sunlight vanishes completely, swallowed by the moon's shadow? Have you ever stopped to think about that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today. Imagine yourself in an open field, watching the sky darken dramatically. The air around you feels heavier, almost as if the atmosphere itself is holding its breath with you. And then, something strange starts to happen inside your body. It's not just a fleeting sensation, it's not something you can ignore. It's real, measurable, and above all, inexplicable. Today, we're going to reveal 7 mysterious changes that occur in your body during and after a solar eclipse. But be warned, some of these will get your pulse racing because they challenge everything we thought we knew about ourselves. Before we dive into these transformations, we need to understand why eclipses have fascinated and frightened humanity for millennia. From the Egyptians who saw eclipses as a sign from the gods to the Chinese who believed a celestial dragon was devouring the sun, these events have always been shrouded in mystery. But what few people know is that beyond the legends and superstitions, there are detailed historical records of inexplicable physical phenomena that occurred during these celestial moments. Deep fatigue with no apparent explanation, vivid visions that seemed premonitory, unexplained heart palpitations. All these descriptions appear repeatedly in ancient manuscripts. Were our ancestors documenting something that modern science is still trying to decipher? Or were they simply afraid of the unknown? The truth is, the more we study these accounts, the more we realize that there's something deeply human and perhaps biological involved. Now, let's start with the first mysterious change, your circadian rhythms. Yes, that internal clock that dictates when you should sleep or wake up can be completely disrupted during a solar eclipse. Think about it. Your body is designed to function in sync with the natural cycles of light and darkness. When the sun rises, your pineal gland decreases the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for sleep. When the sun sets, it increases that production, preparing you to rest. But what happens when suddenly the sun disappears in the middle of the day? Studies show that many people experience a kind of temporary circadian collapse. Some report overwhelming drowsiness, as if the body is confusing the brief darkening with the onset of night. Others, however, report the opposite, acute insomnia, as if the body is entering a state of maximum alert. This leads us to a disturbing question. Does our brain interpret the eclipse as a cataclysmic event, activating primitive survival responses? Imagine this. You're there, looking at the darkened sky, and your body is fighting against something it can't understand. But here's something that will really surprise you. Your blood pressure can also undergo drastic changes during an eclipse. Researchers have observed that in some people, blood pressure tends to drop slightly during the peak of the eclipse, while others experience a temporary increase. Seems contradictory, right? But what's even more shocking is that some scientists believe this may be linked to changes in the Earth's magnetic field, which are amplified during these astronomical events. Now close your eyes and imagine. You're watching the eclipse, maybe with a group of friends or family, and meanwhile your heart is beating differently, responding to invisible forces that we barely understand. It's as if the planet itself is talking to your body in ways that no medical device could measure. What if I told you that your skin also reacts strangely during an eclipse? Yes, that's right. Hundreds of consistent reports over the past few decades mention a tingling sensation in the hands and arms, especially during the moment of greatest obscuration. Some scientists propose that this may be related to the interaction between sunlight filtered by the atmosphere and the static electricity present on our skin. Others suggest that it is a direct neurological response to the unusual environment. Think about it. You're standing under the darkened sky, maybe holding your special eclipse glasses, and suddenly your hands start to tingle, as if they're being charged by an invisible energy. It's surreal, unsettling, and above all, inexplicable. But here's an even more impactful revelation. There's evidence that the human immune system may undergo subtle changes after a solar eclipse. Although there is still no scientific consensus on this, some preliminary studies indicate that certain cells responsible for defending the body may become more active in the hours following the event. This raises a fascinating and perhaps even disturbing question. Does our body interpret the eclipse as a kind of external threat, activating protective mechanisms? Or are we simply witnessing a side effect of something much bigger than we imagine? Imagine this: as you watch the sky darken, your body is waging a silent battle against something you can't even see. Before we continue, let me take a quick pause to reflect on all this. So far, we've talked about circadian rhythms, blood pressure, tingling skin, and even changes in the immune system. It seems surreal, doesn't it? But believe me, there's still much more to discover. In the next segments, we're going to delve even deeper into these mysterious transformations, including emotional and even psychological impacts. And I can guarantee that what's coming next will mess with your mind as much as these first revelations. So, keep watching to unravel the secrets that are still to come. Have you ever felt that shiver down your spine when something inexplicable happens? Like the universe is trying to tell you something, but you can't understand the message. That's exactly the feeling we're going to explore now, as we delve even deeper into the mysterious changes that occur in your body after a solar eclipse. So far, we've talked about confused circadian rhythms, unstable blood pressure, tingling skin, and even changes in the immune system. But get ready, because the next revelations will make you question everything you thought about how your body reacts to the cosmos. Let's start with a change that may seem harmless at first glance, but has a profound impact: body temperature. During a solar eclipse, many people report a subtle but noticeable drop in body temperature. Seems strange, right? After all, we're talking about an event that lasts only a few minutes, and the ambient temperature barely changes in that short period. However, researchers have observed that, in some people, body temperature drops slightly during the peak of the eclipse, even in controlled environments where external factors such as wind or shade have been eliminated. Some scientists speculate that this may be related to the momentary interruption of direct sunlight, which is essential for regulating our metabolism. Imagine this: as you watch the sky darken, your body starts to react as if it were entering a state of temporary hibernation. It's as if your cells are responding to an invisible order coming from the cosmos itself. But here's something that will really intrigue you. Eclipses also seem to influence our emotions in unexpected ways. Studies conducted in different parts of the world show that many people experience an intense wave of feelings during and after a solar eclipse. Some report an overwhelming sense of calm and inner peace, as if the world around them has stopped completely. Others, however, describe an oppressive feeling of anxiety or even inexplicable fear. Researchers suggest that this may be linked to the chemical changes that occur in the brain during the event. The sudden decrease in sunlight can affect serotonin levels, the hormone responsible for well-being, creating an emotional whirlwind that varies from person to person. Now imagine you're there looking at the darkened sky, and suddenly you're overcome by an emotion so intense that it seems to come from nowhere, or maybe from somewhere far beyond us. What if I told you that there are consistent reports of people experiencing vivid and even premonitory dreams in the nights following a solar eclipse? Yes, that's right. Throughout history, many cultures have associated eclipses with moments of visions and spiritual revelations. But what's fascinating is that, even in modern times, people from different parts of the world report similar experiences. After an eclipse, they begin to have extremely detailed dreams, often involving future events or situations that later become reality. Is this just coincidence? Or does the eclipse trigger something in our subconscious mind, releasing information that normally remains hidden? Think about it. As you sleep peacefully after observing the phenomenon, your brain is working on a completely different level, processing signals that we don't even know exist. But here's an even more surprising revelation. There is growing evidence that a solar eclipse can affect your intuition. Yes, that inner voice that we often ignore can become incredibly sharp during these celestial events. Accounts of people who made important decisions shortly after an eclipse, from career changes to love reconciliations, are surprisingly common. Some experts suggest that this may be connected to the way the eclipse amplifies certain energy frequencies around the Earth. These frequencies may, in some way, tune our minds to capture insights that would normally go unnoticed. Now imagine, you're there, under the darkened sky, and suddenly you feel incredible clarity about something that's been bothering you for months. It's as if the universe has opened a door to the unknown, allowing you to see paths that previously seemed invisible. And it doesn't stop there. Another intriguing phenomenon that deserves attention is the impact of eclipses on the perception of time. Many people report that during an eclipse, time seems to distort in a bizarre way. Minutes can seem like hours, or vice versa. This effect has been documented in various cultures throughout history, but has only recently begun to be studied by modern science. Some researchers believe that this may be related to the way our brain processes sensory information during unusual events. When something as rare as an eclipse happens, our brain enters a state of maximum alert, trying to capture every possible detail. This can create a kind of mental slowdown, where each second seems to last an eternity. Imagine this: you're there, looking at the darkened sky, and suddenly time seems to stop. Every beat of your heart echoes inside you, as if the universe itself is holding its breath with you. Before we move on to the last revelations, I want you to reflect on everything we've just discussed. Fluctuating body temperature, intensified emotions, vivid dreams, heightened intuition, and the distorted perception of time. All these changes are interconnected in ways that we don't yet fully understand. And believe me, there's still much more to discover. In the next segments, we're going to explore the last two mysterious transformations, including something that may change the way you see your own body and its connection to the cosmos. So, keep watching, because the best is yet to come. Have you ever stopped to think about how connected you are to the universe? Not just in a poetic or philosophical way, but in a real and palpable way. What we're about to explore now will make you question the boundaries between your physical body and the cosmic forces that surround us. So far, we've delved into changes like fluctuating body temperature, intensified emotions, vivid dreams, heightened intuition, and the distorted perception of time. But get ready, because the next revelations will take you to an even deeper level, where the mysterious meets the inexplicable. Let's start with a change that defies everything we know about how the human body works: biological synchronization with astronomical events. Yes, that's right. There is growing evidence that our bodies may be tuned to the cosmos in ways that we don't yet fully understand. During a solar eclipse, some people report an overwhelming sense of connection, as if they were physically aligned with something much larger than themselves. Researchers suggest that this may be related to the interaction between the Earth's magnetic fields and the electrical systems of our body. Our heart, for example, generates an electromagnetic field that is amplified during moments of great stress or emotional excitement. Now imagine this. As you watch the eclipse, your heart begins to vibrate in harmony with the energies of the planet, creating a kind of cosmic resonance. It's as if, for a few brief moments, you become part of something infinitely larger, an echo of the universe itself. But here's something even more surprising. There are consistent reports of changes in visual perception after a solar eclipse. Many people claim that in the hours or even days following the event, they begin to notice details that had previously gone unnoticed. Colors seem more vibrant, shadows sharper, and even subtle movements capture their attention in an almost hypnotic way. Some scientists speculate that this may be linked to indirect exposure to filtered sunlight during the eclipse, which may temporarily affect the way our eyes process light. Others suggest that it is a neurological response to the unusual environment, where the brain enters a state of maximum alert, seeking visual information with extraordinary precision. Imagine this. You're walking down the street after an eclipse, and suddenly you notice details that you had never noticed before. The pattern of the leaves on a tree, the texture of an old wall, the delicate dance of a shadow projected on the ground. It's as if your eyes have been recalibrated to see the world from a new perspective. What if I told you there's something even more intriguing happening inside your body? Historical and modern accounts mention a peculiar sensation of internal resonance, as if something within you is vibrating in sync with the cosmos. Some people describe it as a slight vibration in their chest, while others feel a gentle pulse that seems to emanate from within. Researchers speculate that this may be related to the eclipse's impact on the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary functions like breathing and heart rate. During the event, this system may enter a state of extreme equilibrium, creating a sensation of internal harmony that few can explain. Now imagine, you're there under the darkened sky, and suddenly you feel a gentle vibration inside your chest, as if the universe itself is pulsing in unison with you. It's an experience so profound that many report feeling a sense of peace and completeness that lasts for days. But here's a revelation that will truly leave you speechless. There's evidence that a solar eclipse can influence hormone production in our bodies. Preliminary studies show that during these celestial events, levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, may temporarily decrease, while levels of dopamine, associated with pleasure and motivation, may increase. This creates a unique hormonal cocktail that may explain why so many people report a feeling of euphoria or mental clarity after an eclipse. Now imagine, as you observe the phenomenon, your body is releasing a chemical mixture that transforms your experience into something almost transcendental. It's as if for a few moments you're living in an altered state of consciousness, where the worries of everyday life simply disappear. And we can't ignore the impact of eclipses on our creativity. Many artists, writers, and musicians report experiencing a significant increase in their inspiration after a solar eclipse. Some say that ideas come out of nowhere, as if they were downloaded directly from the cosmos. Others report an incredible ability to solve complex problems or find innovative solutions to issues that previously seemed impossible. Researchers suggest that this may be related to the altered mental state that occurs during the eclipse, where the brain enters a more fluid and open mode of thinking. Imagine this. You're sitting at your desk trying to solve a problem for weeks, and suddenly, after an eclipse, the solution appears like a ray of light piercing through the darkness. It's as if the universe has conspired to help you see clearly. Before we get to the final revelations, I want you to reflect on everything we've just discussed. Biological synchronization with the cosmos, alterations in visual perception, internal resonance, hormonal changes, and bursts of creativity. All these transformations are clues to something much bigger. And believe me, there's still more to discover. In the next segment, we'll explore the last two mysterious changes, including something that could forever change the way you see your connection to the universe. So, keep watching, because we're about to reach the climax of this fascinating journey. Have you ever wondered if the universe is trying to tell us something? If there's a hidden message in every celestial event, something we can only grasp when we're truly connected with the cosmos? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore now. So far, we've delved deep into changes like biological synchronization, altered visual perception, internal resonance, hormonal fluctuations, and bursts of creativity. But get ready, because the final revelations will take you to an even more transcendental level, where science, mystery, and spirituality meet. Let's start with a change that many would consider almost magical: the ability of a solar eclipse to influence our connection with others. During these celestial events, many people report an overwhelming sense of empathy and mutual understanding. It's as if, for a few brief moments, the emotional barriers that normally separate us completely disappear. Researchers suggest that this may be related to the temporary release of oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, which promotes feelings of connection and closeness. Now imagine you're there watching the eclipse, perhaps next to strangers or even alone, and suddenly you feel a wave of compassion and understanding for others. It's as if the cosmos itself is reminding us of our shared humanity, that we are all part of something much bigger. Historical accounts show that many cultures associated eclipses with moments of reconciliation and unity, and perhaps there's something deeply true in that. But here's something even more surprising. There's growing evidence that a solar eclipse can impact our memory in unexpected ways. Some people report incredible clarity about past events, as if old and forgotten memories come to the surface during or after the phenomenon. Others claim that their ability to retain new information seems to increase dramatically in the hours following the eclipse. Researchers speculate that this may be linked to changes in brain activity during the event, where areas responsible for memory are activated in an unusual way. Imagine this. You're there, looking at the darkened sky, and suddenly details of a distant moment in your life emerge with impressive clarity. It's as if the eclipse has opened a door to your past, allowing you to access memories that were locked inside you. Now we come to the last and perhaps most intriguing change, the feeling of spiritual renewal. Many people report that after watching a solar eclipse, they feel a profound internal transformation. Some describe it as a kind of emotional reset, where worries and fears seem to lose their strength. Others mention a sense of renewed purpose, as if the eclipse has given them a new perspective on life. This phenomenon transcends cultural and religious boundaries, being reported by people from different parts of the world and of diverse beliefs. Think about it. As you watch the sky darken, something inside you also seems to darken, but not in a negative way. It's as if old layers of pain, fear, or doubt are being removed, leaving space for something new and bright. It's an experience so powerful that many report feeling that their lives have changed forever after that moment. But here's perhaps the most important revelation of all. These changes don't just happen in the physical body, they reflect something much bigger, a deep connection between us and the universe. What we experience during a solar eclipse isn't just a series of isolated biological reactions. It's an echo of the cosmos itself, proof that we are an integral part of something infinitely larger. When the sun is obscured by the moon, our body and mind respond in ways that defy conventional logic, as if we're receiving a direct message from the universe. And that message is clear. We are more than just physical beings. We are cosmic beings, interconnected with everything around us. Before we conclude, I want to leave you with a final thought. What do these 7 mysterious changes reveal about ourselves? Perhaps we're only just beginning to understand the extent of our connection with the cosmos. Perhaps each solar eclipse is a unique opportunity to reconnect with something greater, with the universe, with others, and above all, with ourselves. And if you found it fascinating to learn about these transformations, wait until you discover how other celestial phenomena can impact your life in even more surprising ways. If this video sparked your curiosity, be sure to check out our upcoming content, where we'll explore equally intriguing mysteries. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. And of course, leave your personal experience with solar eclipses in the comments. Have you ever experienced some of these changes without even realizing it? Share your story with us. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.